Good morning, children. In our previous class, we have done that our food is completely digested in the duodenum and jejunum, and then it is absorbed in the ileum. And from the ileum, this digested food is transported to all parts of the body, to each and every cell of the body. Similarly, oxygen is coming to the lungs, and from lungs, it has to be carried to each and every cell of the body. And similarly, the waste material, carbon dioxide, it need to be collected from all part of the body. So this is quite obvious that we need a transport system in our body, which can perform all these functions. So today we will do transportation in human being. Because in unicellular organism, there is no need of any transport system. They are not having any transport system because they are in direct contact with the surrounding. All higher multicellular organism, they need a transport system. So let us study about transportation in human being. Transport system in human being, this comprises mainly of three components: blood, blood vessel, and heart. So let us first of all study about blood. Do you know how much total content of the blood is there in our body? I think many figures are coming to your mind. Our body is having 5 to 5.5 liter of the blood. And this blood is basically can be divided into two components. One is the fluid part, plasma, and second is the cells which are present in this fluid. Plasma, this is 90% water only, and 10% of this plasma is made up of organic and inorganic substances. Organic substances like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, proteins. Basically, there are three types of proteins which are present in the plasma. Protective proteins, globulin, albumin that maintain an osmotic pressure, and fibrin which is responsible for clotting of blood. And then there are inorganic substances also like sodium ion, potassium ion, calcium ion, bicarbonate ion. So that makes the inorganic substances. Different cells which are present in this plasma, they are red blood cells or RBC, white blood cells or WBC, and platelets. Now, what are the different functions which are performed by blood? Plasma is transporting digested food, carbon dioxide, and the metabolic waste product which are soluble in water. Some hormones are also transported, some salts are also transported by plasma only. RBC, as we have done in respiration chapter, that RBCs, they are having hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin combine with oxygen and form oxyhemoglobin. So oxygen is transported by RBC. WBC, these are called soldiers of the body. Why? Because these fight with the microbes. This microbe may be virus, maybe bacteria, maybe fungi, maybe protista. So our WBC, it fight with that. A special type of WBC, lymphocyte, it makes our immune system. There is another component of the blood, that is platelets. These platelets, they are responsible for clotting of the blood. What is clotting of the blood? Whenever we get any injury, blood comes out of these blood vessels, and immediately within few seconds, a brown color coat is formed on this injury. This process is called clotting of blood. And this is very important to prevent the excessive flow of blood, excessive loss of blood. The second component of transportation are the pipelines. Pipeline distributed all over the body. And these pipelines are of different three categories: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries, they are carrying pure blood from the heart to all part of the body. When I am saying pure blood, it means oxygenated blood from the heart to all parts of the body. Students, please note down my statement. I'm saying arteries, they carry oxygenated blood from the heart to all part of the body. This statement is not 100% correct, because there is one artery that carries deoxygenated blood. That is pulmonary artery. Now the question is, then why we call it artery? Because artery is the term given to blood vessels which are carrying blood away from the heart. And pulmonary artery, this is carrying the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. So this is the only artery that is carrying the deoxygenated blood. Rest are carrying the oxygenated blood. Arteries, they are having thick wall. And definitely when it is having thick wall, the lumen is going to be narrow. So now the next question. Why arteries are having thick wall and the veins are having thin wall? Because heart is pushing the blood into artery with a pressure. This pressure is very important. Otherwise, blood is not going to reach each and every cell of the body. And to resist this pressure, arteries are having thick wall. Otherwise, what would happen? Arteries will burst. So they are thick wall, they are having narrow lumen, and because of this narrow lumen, a pressure is maintained in the arteries. Arteries, they are not having any valve because pressure is sufficient to flow the blood in single direction only. On the other hand, veins, they are carrying the deoxygenated blood from all part of the body to the heart. Again, there is exceptional case. Pulmonary veins, these are carrying oxygenated blood. Again, question why? Because veins are the blood vessels which are carrying blood towards the heart. And pulmonary vein is carrying the blood from the lungs to the heart. These are thin wall because they are just receiving the blood and no pressure is required for receiving. And because wall are thin, so definitely lumen is going to be broader. They are having valves. What is valve? Valves, they are just gate-like structure that prevent the backflow of the blood. Veins are carrying blood from the legs also in the upward direction. So that is against the gravitational pull also. So to prevent the backflow of the blood, because of this gravitational force, veins are having valves that prevent the backflow. Capillaries. Capillaries are narrow blood vessels, very narrow blood vessel. The wall of these blood vessels are just single cell thick. Arteries, they capillary. And this capillary network, this combine to form the vein. The branches of arteries are called arterioles and the branches of veins are called venules. Can you compare the thickness of the artery and the thickness of this capillary here? Just look here. They are just single cell thick. And it is because of this reason that all the exchange function, they occur through this capillary only. Exchange cannot occur through artery, exchange cannot occur through vein. It can occur only and only through capillaries. Arteries and veins, they are forming the transport system, and capillaries, they are for exchange of the material. Surrounding these capillary, there are cells. So these capillary, they are having the minute, very small pores in their wall. From this pore, the content comes out. Whatever is smaller than the pore will come out of this capillary in the surrounding, this surrounding area, and in this surrounding area, cells are there. So whatever requirement is there by the cell, that is taken up. The fluid that comes out of the capillary in this surrounding medium is called lymph. So this lymph is nothing but a part of the blood only that comes out of the capillaries in the surrounding areas. In this figure, you can also compare the thickness of the artery and the veins. I have summarized the differences between the arteries and veins in this slide. We can compare the arteries and veins on the basis of the type of the blood they are carrying, on the basis of the direction in which they are carrying the blood, on the basis of their structure, on the basis of their location. Okay, sometime in the exam, say there is only 1 mark question, differentiate arteries and veins on the basis of the direction they are carrying the blood. So in that case, you have to answer only this one. You are not concerned about the other differences. Okay, so you have to learn this table properly. The next and very important component of our transport system is heart. Heart is the pumping structure. This pump the blood to all the blood vessels. Then they are carrying this to all parts of the body. Our heart is 4-chambered heart. 2 upper chamber and 2 lower chamber. 2 upper chambers, they are called atria, and 2 lower chambers, they are called ventricles. Atria or atrium, they are receiving chamber. They receive the blood, and that is why they are thin-walled. Ventricles, they are pushing the blood. That is why they are thick-walled. And all these 4 chambers, they are having some dividing wall between them, that is called septa. These septa prevent the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood.